Sometimes we are put in a situation where we are faced with the best of two worlds. Well, that's kind of the way I feel today because I have a young lady, who's in charge of the chamber, that we're going to talk about the chamber and all that it's doing. But in addition to that, I have several younger ladies who are a part of the audience, the girls with pearls and curls. So we got a dichotomy here that's very good for the community. It's good for the community because Ms. Yvonne Williams, who's the chamber president, will be talking about what's going on with the chamber and in our community today with education and economic development, etc. But also, these young ladies will get to experience because one day they'll be sitting in her seat. So I guess I better be on my P's and Q's today because I got a double audience. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham, and as I said, I have with me today, I'm so pleased to have her here, Ms. Yvonne Williams, who's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. She came here less than a year ago, but it's like she has been here forever. She came and just jumped right in. I've seen her twice this week at different activities in the community, so I want to say again, although I told you one, welcome to Macon.
Thank you, Alex.
And I'm so glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally first.
Well, I guess it would be a storyboard, but I'll try to go through the journey. I was blessed to grow up in Macon in high school and junior high. I was at Miller and Central. I was a cheerleader on the squad and the homecoming queen back in the day.
Wow.
And we were we were state champs in football. It was a real exciting high school experience. I had a very productive career in economic development and chamber of commerce management. Started out with the small city of Madison, Georgia, working on their heritage and historical preservation activity to put on the tour of homes in Madison. Went from there to Americus, Georgia, created a lot of synergy between Plains and Andersonville and Americus with some tourism connectivity, and also we restored the Windsor Hotel in Americus. We created a partnership between the technical school and Georgia Southwestern and located a defense company from Orlando, Florida in Americus. It's a real opportunity for job opportunities in an area that was depressed at that time with major unemployment. I went from Americus up to Gainesville Hall County, Georgia, and we had the Olympics rowing venue there, and we were really organized between a partnership of economic development from the city, the county, and the chamber, and became very interested in the concept of Hall Together. That was our motto. And from there, I was recruited to go to Cobb County to be the Chamber of Commerce Executive President for the Cobb County Chamber. And for the girls, I will say I'm the first on all these journeys, the first female president. So that was always a pattern there for the journey. And from there, I went to head up the Perimeter Community Improvement District for 18 years in Atlanta, which is the heart of the Fortune 500 Center in Atlanta, where we have Mercedes-Benz and State Farm. And I created the platform for livable centers, live, work, play community, where we connect transportation, housing, job centers, aesthetics, pedestrian, all to capture a new urban footprint. And then I decided to look at a new opportunity where we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. My husband and I wanted to be somewhere in a greater community, but not necessarily in the urban area forever. And we found this opportunity in Macon. And he relocated his job from a communications company in Atlanta and now is employed here with Hargray, and then I've now become the president and CEO of the Greater Macon Chamber.
Wow! I am so happy, and you come with a whole lot of experience, and it's good to know that you've done all of that, and it's good to know that you have been successful, and it's good to know that you've been a trailblazer as it relates to all of these activities. Well, let's start with something about the chamber and Macon. One thing that most of us know already, I would hope, is that the chamber is about uplifting the community, about economic development, about jobs. Let's talk about yesterday, about that warehousing and distribution career fair. I'm sure that you all were in one way or another involved in that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the piece that we were engaged with is that we want to always be a good partner. So when there was an idea that maybe we should have a survey, it was an afterthought, but it came up that we should have a survey for the people coming to the fair to see what kind of transportation needs there might be among people trying to access jobs. And since we have areas that are underserved with the transportation network, we wanted to use the opportunity while they were waiting for the entrance is to get a short survey and ask questions like, do you have access to regular transportation? Are you getting to work by a car, a carpool, Uber? Are you using the Macon Transit Authority? If you are, do you know the route system? If you're not using it, what would be a way that you could access the Transit Authority? And we were able to get at least 200 or 300 of these surveys among the thousands of people there. But it's a good sampling to tell us that, yes, we've got gaps. There are places that we need to provide more transit service or to focus on more transit lines to get people in the reliability or get consistency of their patterns of mode. This is not unique to Macon. All great cities are looking at alternative transportation. Right. They want to know that they have bikeable areas, they have walkable areas, they have transit systems, van pools. Right. So we've got employers such as Amazon that are going to need to have transit access, and we don't have that access in place at some of these greater economic modes. So we've got to be creative, figure out how do we serve that area, how do we get cooperative programs together that would allow employers to share transit opportunity. But some of our population does not rely on automobile. And we need to know that that's a very strong segment of marketable people that could be employed. And
they need jobs too.
That we could have a better way that we connect people and more people engaged in the employment system.
That is so outstanding. And I think that mirrors, what the Chamber of Commerce is about. But just kind of give, for those who know and those who don't know. Let's just do an overview of what the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce is about and some of the activities in which it's involved.
Well, I could take you on a little journey in history that was very impressive to me. Our chamber's been in place for over 150 years. And in a book of timeline that was written about the Greater Macon Chamber, which does need to have an extra chapter or two attached, we've been engaged with things like raising money for the Mercer Engineering School. We were the key players for locating Brown & Williamson and Geico and YKK, which were huge companies of significance for the state of Georgia and the Southeast. In their day, we were like on the top of the scale for that kind of activity. I mean, we've been involved with major T-Splosh campaigns, transportation infrastructure. We've led initiatives to create the Okmulgee National Park feasibility study, and just this year, we were able to be the major advocates with other partners to get the bill passed in the Congress. It was hanging on, and we pushed Senator Isaacson and Congressman Bishop and said we really, really want to see this go through this year, and they delivered. And we had a celebration with Senator Isaacson earlier this year and Congressman Bishop.
And that's putting it on the register?
Yeah, it's a national park.
Right.
That national park can transform the image and the branding of Macon because we are now part of a system of national parks.
Right.
It will also protect heritage land, create recreational opportunities, and you can just think about it, it's only a mile off of a major interstate system. Right. So that is a huge opportunity for the community. The Chamber has been involved with major tourism activity partnerships. It's just amazing over the years. So I would put at top of the scale advocacy. We're a strong combination of 1,000 members with 50,000 employees that can leverage a voice for advocacy. And the more we use that and use it effectively, we can be very strong with the kind of things we need to help Macon continue to build transportation networks or continue to build good legislative policy or tax policy or local government policy. I would put that at the top. But we also have strong connections with partnerships for economic development, and I like to say comprehensive economic development, because it's not just about locating the company, it's building the people and the community to have the right skill sets, to have livable areas for housing, to have areas that are accommodating for quality of life, because if we don't have the quality of life, the companies aren't going to be very engaged in keeping us in the competition for selection. So working on that agenda is ever changing and should be an alternative goal. But again, on a regular basis, we offer small businesses services, membership connectivity. We can get into some cost savings for members with seminar and educational programs, and even maybe in the future a healthcare program that will allow small business to have cost reduction.
Well, it seems to me that, and then a lot of people think that the Chamber of Commerce is for big business and major corporations only. Talk about the reasoning why small, I don't want to say mom and pop, but smaller companies like the Macon Middle Georgia Black Pages and Haversham Promotions, you know, all companies involved in some kind of commercial entity, even if it's a beauty shop or a barber shop or an auto detail shop. You know, talk about how and why they should be involved in the chamber.
Well, I will say it on a big picture. The reason for involvement is you want somebody that's spending their time 365 days a year taking care of Macon Bibb in a way that helps us stay competitive. And we have to do that whether we want to be actively at every meeting or not. We've got to do that because nobody's going to take care of Macon Bibb on our own. We have to do it through through a network of business leaders. But if you are interested in specialized opportunities, we offer a chance for you to break away, come to an early morning coffee, meet other business owners, share best practice, learn from each other in a very fun setting that we do to introduce your business. But also we'll find a way to connect you with our consulting services. We have SCORE, which is a fabulous service to help small businesses understand their growth pattern. Where do they access capital? How do they get through legal opportunities? What are some of the resources we have in Macon that will help them grow to scale? I mean, we obviously want to grow our businesses that we have that are already here. And so connecting those resources is very important. We can do very good marketing opportunities on our social network. We can help small businesses with literature and things that are available at our office. There's a lot of ways that you can help your bottom line. I like to say, make your bottom line work for you by your membership. And it's really just dollars a month. If you spread out the cost of a membership for entry and then the higher levels, it's really your insurance policy to help you become competitive in Macon, Georgia.
That's a very outstanding. And you also do business after hours?
Oh, yes.
Those
are very big drawings. Companies sponsor those. And it's your chance to have ways to draw a lot of diversity of the community together in a setting. They visit your place of business. They allow you to have a commercial about your business at the setting, and you get a whole audience of people that you get their business cards. And so I can only share with somebody what that strategy should be, but having a collection of business cards gives you an opportunity to say, here's a target market for me that I can spend a lot of messaging with and connection with, and then that gives you an opportunity to really expand your reach. So it's a value-added opportunity.
Okay, what are the priorities? And I know there are several, but what areas, you know, are you working on now? I know you all doing some thing with the Business Education Partnership. With talk a little bit about Leadership Macon.
Yes.
About Leadership Macon also, and the One Macon Project, because oftentimes the community does not realize all of the good things, because what happens is that the press, you know, of course that's okay, I guess, but they talk about the negativity, but talk about the good things that are going on in Macon with those initiatives that the Chamber is assisting in, like the BEP and One Macon and like education.
Well, I know that we're finding ways that we're stepping up as a chamber organization to help support the BEP, growing more businesses to become school partners. And what does that look like? How do we have extended business engagement in the schools? because we're finding that the competitive communities of tomorrow are focusing on a long, ever-arching strategy for getting young people exposed to careers early in their school life, giving them the life skills they need, giving them job readiness skills, so that when we graduate somebody in the 12th grade, they're on a track of having an exact pathway into a job opportunity. They're prepared. It's not like they've been left hanging before they have the skill sets needed to be interviewing for a job, sustainability on a job, being job ready in terms of the ethics that are required to work today. Those basic skills can take you anywhere. You can be trained. But if we can have people coming out of the school system at a very young age, learning from Leader in Me platforms, having applications, having exposure to what a career looks like, we're serving Macon Bibb population with a better chance for employment. And making those connections happen is a really good role for the chamber between business, education, nonprofit, helping the Hutchins Center grow, which is a great career academy, having that pipeline attached to the Central Georgia Technical Institute, then on to Middle Georgia Regional. I mean, we can give people a vision of a lifelong educational format that lets them grow in their career. We've just got to make it happen through a marketing and connectivity strategy.
That is so outstanding, and like I said, too often people don't realize all of the involvement that the chamber has in the community. So what if one wanted to become involved? And although, I mean, all citizens should be familiar with what the chamber does. So talk a little bit about everybody, particularly all the businesses, but citizens too, can have access to the chamber and the information.
Well, one of the things that's a real very high profile piece of a chamber's Leadership Macon, and we put in about 40 to 50 people a year that are selected to be in Leadership Macon, and they're selected by their employers or nonprofits that bring forth candidates, but it's a diversified group of people from race, ethnicity, from gender. We traditionally organize it that way because we want Macon to have a victory for diversity.
Yes.
And this has become a way that thousands of people that have gone through Leadership Macon are in the community now, and they're re-engaging with volunteer projects, with mentorship projects, with community improvement projects. And my goal with Leadership Macon is to make the alumni group very strong so that they're continuously working on goals. They're not just having the class experience, but they're out in the community plugging in the other areas, because we have to grow mentorships and we have to grow leadership development for youth. There's so many areas that we can have value-added volunteerism through that network. So that's one example. But we also have a growing young professionals network. These are young people coming to Macon employed, but they want to get plugged in and they don't want to wait till later in life. They want to get plugged in while they're here new. So we're finding ways to get them to be part of the new efforts of the volunteerism and making community development really work well. They like the value added of that. That's the new experience young people want these days, not just employment, but they want community engagement.
They want to be involved.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk some more about what you can do, because we're going to talk about the adult readiness program that we both went to with Brother Roger Jackson when we come back. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham, interviewing Miss Yvonne Williams, Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back. We're back. I'm your host, Alex Haversham, interviewing Miss Yvonne Williams with an audience of young ladies, girls with pearls and curls, and we're glad to have them today. And what we're talking about is the Chamber of Commerce. There's an old expression that says, it takes a village. And though the Chamber is involved in a whole lot of activity educationally, economically and from an entertainment perspective, socially, but it still takes a village. And it takes all kinds of activities in a community. And I'm sure Ms. Yvonne will talk about this, and I wish she would. This is a phenomenal community. We've got a lot of things going for us, like colleges and universities and locations. So there is more going on than economic development. There are peripheral elements that contribute to the growth of the community. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's a very, very good observation. I mean, even if you think about it, the music heritage here could be a draw at another scale. There's value in that heritage. There's some of the best venues that you can access within the Southeast, and we're only 45 minutes south, really, of the greater Atlanta, because Atlanta's grown all the way up to McDonough,
Right.
and we're only an hour and a half to Savannah. So this is a real opportunity to connect music heritage and artists and up-and-coming artists to come and be part of our culture. The theater is really great here. There's lots of theater venues, and people can have a wonderful weekend getaway and be in Macon and access a downtown experience that's lively, and also great culinary institutions of restaurants and very much diversified with a walkable experience, which is really nice when you're coming from a larger city and you want to park that car and keep it parked while you're enjoying your leisure activities. The film industry has started becoming targeted in Macon. We've got a growth opportunity there with the CVB partnership, Convention and Business Bureau, to really brand the movies that have been produced here, what the economic connectivity we offer for movie production, the cost efficiency. The venues they love to find new venues of where they can shoot and film, and the talent attraction. So that's a whole economic, because it helps our restaurants, it helps our retail, it helps people that stay here over a week or two to be part of the economy, and that's a very important role to access. And I go back to the National Park. That is huge for us to showcase as a recreational destination of national significance, and getting all of those 600,000 cars that go across I-75 and Interstate 16
On a
at
daily
least
basis?
get some of them to stop in Macon. Yes.
On a daily basis?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We could really have a lot of energy with economics. So I say there's so much low-hanging fruit that if we comprehensively work together, we could say we have an economic development strategy that's very diversified, that helps with all those elements.
Now, I know you're a busy lady, but if somebody would like for you or a member of the chamber to come and talk to that group or organization, about all of the important elements and things and factors and influences that are going on in Macon, would they be able to do that?
Oh yes, we have a very active board of directors. I like to put our directors to work, so yes, we would have a great assortment of people. I think through the program that you and I were just talking about, the One Macon strategy, and I call it a visionary consensus building strategy that's involved several hundreds of people over the last few months to identify what are the new platforms for Macon and place, people, jobs, culture. I believe that group of people can start becoming a consensus group of how do we spread the news, how do we articulate what our strategy is, how we're building partnerships, who's leading in these areas, how do we begin to show results, what are we measuring against to really show that we're advancing. That's going to be a whole opportunity going forward through the One Macon process.
Right. Now, does one have to be a member in order to get the chamber newsletter?
We prefer that you're a member. Yeah, that's part of your benefits as a member. But we have a website, and there's lots of things that you can access and see on the website that would help you become an opportunity to attend something, or as a non-member, you can still attend as a non-member. We just want you to have the benefit of joining to be the member.
Well, then let's encourage all businesses out there to become members.
And in fact, we're in a campaign right now. So.
What's the process? So let's talk about there may be I'm sure there are some businesses, maybe Chat and Chew.
Yes.
May want to join the chat. Do you take nonprofits?
Oh, yes, we do. Yes.
Okay.
And we have a range of fees so that they're accommodated to different types of businesses. But we have a salesperson, Tim Hughes, on staff. We have Claudia as the front desk. She can help anybody. And we have a whole group of ambassadors that serve the chamber that would love to help connect people if they want to find a way to have an ambassador visit them at their businesses, and we can offer that. We also are in the middle of a total resource campaign. We've got one more week, and we've got fabulous package of sponsorships, talking about business after hours, talking about the golf tournament, talking about connecting over coffee, talking about all the assortment of programs. You can select a sponsorship, and you can bring in a member, and this is the week to do it.
Right, and I always recommend to new businesses, one of the first things that they should do is join the chamber, because you all are phenomenal with grand openings. Talk about that.
The ribbon cuttings, we have at least 4 a week. And that's a great way you can video your ribbon cutting, attach it to your promotional, and that gives you a lot of ways that you can engage with other chamber members with your first debut of coming into Macon.
Right.
So I say that those are very popular, and they're very beneficial for exposing your network.
So how does one access the website, and what's the phone number over there?
The phone number, I'm sorry, I still haven't memorized it.
61-2000,
Yeah,
I believe
you
it
know
is.
it.
We'll flash it
Yeah.
on the screen. That's no problem. And it's MaconChamber.com?
Yes, yes.
MaconChamber.com. Well, let me thank you so much, for all you do and all the initiatives in which you are involved. And let me encourage the entire community to learn more about the chamber, what it does, the role that it's playing in improving our community. And I want this to be an example to show that everybody can be involved in making this a better community. We want to give a shout out to Roger Jackson. She and I were at his graduation
Exactly.
with the adult readiness program, and he brought it upon himself. There's an old saying that says, if it is to be, it's up to me. So, we all should be involved, but I think that we all should express a sincere and deep appreciation for you and for the chamber and everything that it's doing to make this a better community for everybody. I like the fact that the chamber is concerned about diversity, because, there's an old saying that says a rising tide raises the whole ship. And I think that you are contributing water to make that tide rise for everybody to do better and for this to be an improved community. You got 1 minute for your parting words.
Well, thank you, Alex. I think this is a valuable dialogue. I know that it will continue. There's so many different things that are to be discussed about the way that we're going to progress and be competitive. And the ultimate platform is prosperity. And until we have prosperity for everyone, our job's not complete. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to come back and give back to the community after a very successful career, but the career's not over.
That's correct. This is a call to action.
A call to
I'm
action.
your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Miss Yvonne Williams, president of the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce, and this having been witnessed by the girls with pearls and curls. Have a great day.